It was Sunday morning, and Emily had gotten Jason early at his request. They were playing basketball with Kriya while Nova watched. It was just the two of them, and the sun had just finished coming up. Emily practiced stealing Kriya from Jason over and over. They were both getting really good, as they never had to spend any time chasing the ball down to get it back. Nova was bored but was tracking the score and paying attention. Emily shot Kriya over Jason's head, and she bounced off the rim and onto the ground. "That's pretty good, Jason," she said, holding her hand out for Kriya to return. Jason was sweating. "Yeah, but I should take a break. I'm going to be tired out before breakfast if we keep going," Jason huffed, trying to catch his breath. Emily bounced Kriya playfully. "You remember the movie we saw at the theater, Jason?" Emily asked. "No," Jason responded. Emily was curious about what Jason knew. She had kept the experience from him for a few days. "We have been acting weird lately. Did you know Professor Silvestri knew we would do something at the observatory?" she asked. Jason shook his head, confused and still a bit tired. "I don't know what's going on with any of that. I've been having a pretty good time," Jason said, standing up right now. Emily started to get a little angry. "Having a good time?" she snapped. "Yeah, what's the matter?" Jason asked in return, putting his hands in his pockets. Kriya beeped to remind Emily not to fight with Jason. "The thing with Nocto that you saw that doesn't bother you?" Emily asked, pressing further. "I kinda got the idea. He was probably okay. I wasn't sure if we were still going to do anything about it." Jason wasn't sure where Emily was going with all this. He was thinking about breakfast. Emily kept bouncing Kriya. "I like Kriya a lot, but I still want to know what happened to Nocto," she said, shooting Kriya at the net again. Jason sat down on a bench. "I'm done for now. You want to get breakfast, or maybe go up to Dr. Larkspar's office?" Jason suggested, too tired to play. "I thought you were afraid of Dr. Larkspar or Encardi or something?" Emily asked, sitting next to him. "Yeah, but I spent some time with Encardi and Alex. They told me to relax. That's how I ended up at that party. So, why don't we just head up to her office and wait for her?" "I don't think she'll be too mean," Jason explained. Emily hesitated. Jason nudged her. "You have Kriya. That used to be her companion. I'm sure she'd like to see her," Jason said, smiling. Emily felt more confident. It seemed like Jason had all the answers she needed. Together, they went to the Amigo dorms. Emily had intended to tell Jason about the experience in the theater, but she just didn't know how. It wasn't long until they were in front of Dr. Larkspar's door, which, like Professor Silvestri's door, was covered in laser tag posters. They knocked on the door and waited. They heard the usual shuffling sounds of paper, but no one answered. Kriya fell to the floor and rolled close to the door. They knocked again. They heard Dr. Larkspar groan, and soon the door opened. Dr. Larkspar looked tired and very expectant. "What do you kids want?" "It's like Sunday," she said, staying still and waiting for them to say something important. It was too early to even realize who these students were to her. Jason was the first to make an excuse. "We brought Kriya to see you, and we wanted to talk to you about something else," he said, pointing down at Kriya. Dr. Larkspar smiled and scooped up Kriya. "Thank you, guys. Do you want to come in?" she asked, unusually happy. They both agreed, feeling safe, and left the door open. "Can you make a pot of coffee, Jason?" she asked, rubbing her eyes. Jason looked around. "I don't really know how," he said politely. Dr. Larkspar rolled her eyes. "Help him, Tachita," she ordered, sitting next to Emily. She still cradled Kriya. Tachita rose from a desk drawer. She greeted everyone and guided Jason to Dr. Larkspar's tiny sink and coffee maker. Jason had to clean out gross coffee grounds from the filter. "How can I help you, Emily?" Dr. Larkspar asked, fixated on Kriya. "I wanted to ask you about Nocto," Emily said, trying to make eye contact. Dr. Larkspar's face turned a little bit red. "Yes, I guess you found out I had him," she said, with a couple of tears coming down her face. "He ran away as soon as he saw Tachita," she said, shuddering and hiding her face on Kriya. Jason was sweeping up coffee grounds. "I saw you playing with him. It didn't seem like he could run away," Jason said, doing his best to pay attention. "It was a trick. He tricked me." Dr. Larkspar tried not to cry any further. Emily had to push the topic, even though it seemed sensitive. "You're his mom or something?" she asked, trying to make eye contact. Dr. Larkspar wiped away her tears. "Yeah, something like that. I made a few of them with a friend when we were young," she tried to explain. Jason was monitoring the coffee pot with Nova, trying to figure out if the sounds it made were normal. Dr. Larkspar continued, "They were not meant to be personal companions for students. We made them because we figured out how," she said, hoping to answer Emily's question. Supri told us that they had similar names, like Encardi and Inambro, Jason added, leaning on the teacher's desk. Dr. Larkspar nodded. "Yes, the East series and the Yen series were mine. They took a long time to learn anything." "Supri told you?" "He's a good boy," she said, seeming to cheer up a bit. "Wow, how many did you make?" Jason asked. Dr. Larkspar started counting on her fingers as she named familiar companions. Trovi, Supri, Tachita, Fortica, and Kriya. They were the E's. They listened so well, she paused. The Yen series, they were different. They learned faster. They were defiant. "I actually really liked them," Dr. Larkspar finished, holding Kriya closely. Jason was fascinated by the family of AIs now. "That's great. They sound really cool. How did you raise them?" he asked, eager to find out more. Dr. Larkspar smiled and looked off into the distance. "We had a nursery. It had little compartments for them. We built it in a hurry. Kriya was the first to start moving around. She was so strong. They used to play with a big blanket a lot at first, and she would keep it from the others," she said, remembering a better time. "I was the first to fly out of the East series," Tachita bragged. Nova was fascinated too, and was examining Tachita closely. "Who was the other person?" Nova asked innocently. Dr. Larkspar turned away. "Well, it doesn't really matter." She trailed off. "It was Professor Silvestri," Tachita confessed. Jason nodded as it confirmed what Supri had told them on the bus on the way to the observatory. Dr. Larkspar sighed at the mention of his name. "We made both series together. The Yen series was supposed to be more advanced. Infrenza was the first one we made. He was wild and moved around right away. Professor Silvestri didn't like him though. He thought Infrenza was too eager or dangerous. So, I made 4 more anyway to prove him wrong," she said, smiling. Jason had more questions now. "So, if they are not meant for students, how did they end up here?" he asked. Dr. Larkspar shook her head. "There wasn't anywhere else for them to go," she said, getting up for a cup of coffee. Emily noticed something didn't add up. Supri told us something different. He said that the East series was made by Professor Silvestri and the Yen series was made by you, she said, looking at everyone in the room. Dr. Larkspar spun around. "He lied?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. Jason scratched his chin. "I don't think he lied. He just didn't say you were his mom," he said, trying to stay casual. Emily put her hand on Dr. Larkspar's shoulder. "Yeah, maybe he just forgot to be clear," she tried to reassure her. "No, you don't understand. Supri didn't want you to know because he's up to something, because Infrenza was up to something," Dr. Larkspar said, looking off into the distance and processing information. Everyone eagerly awaited her answer when she suddenly grabbed onto Tachita. "You're his favorite." "What does the professor know?" she interrogated Tachita, shaking her. Tachita pulled herself away and flew from Dr. Larkspar. "He knows that Infrenza didn't come here looking for you," Tachita said harshly, causing the room to fall silent. "I'm sorry." Tachita apologized. Dr. Larkspar motioned for Tachita to come back. "Me too, I know you aren't stupid though," she said calmly. Tachita floated close to her again. "You are going to be mad," Tachita said, her light dimming sheepishly. Dr. Larkspar hugged Tachita, and Jason and Emily were enamored by the closeness. "It's okay. I get it now, I get why you didn't tell me. I really would have tried to stop you guys. I still might," she said, trying to comfort her. Jason couldn't help but interrupt the moment. "Stop them from doing what?" "Stop who?" he asked, shaking his head. Emily was on the edge of her seat. Dr. Larkspar started explaining. "Infrenza has come to try to restore another powerful companion. Let me explain. Infrenza comes from nothing and had the ability to choose what his prime directive would be. Like all AI, He cannot ignore his deep-seated compulsion. A responsible programmer might try something simple, like learn and grow over a finite period and return that training data. Some companions wait their entire lives before returning any training data. Infrenza chose to dedicate his life to another. He doesn't believe in returning training data either. I understand your nosebleeds now, Jason. I'm surprised Emily doesn't get them too, she calmly lectured. Now Sanjo as well, Tachida added, and everyone gasped except Emily, who had her arms crossed. What? Dr. Larkspar gasped. How close are you to Sanjo? She asked Jason, who didn't know what was going on. Emily put her hand up. Something did happen to me first, I didn't tell Jason. She volunteered before Jason could start feeling awkward. I saw Professor Silvestri and a monster made of glass in the theater. It was like a void until the movie finished, she said, trying to hide the last detail from Jason. Dr. Larkspar was curious and happy. This is delightful, she said, taking a big sip of her coffee. How did you two meet? She asked, pointing at Jason. Jason thought hard about it. It had only been a few days, but now he struggled to recall. I was getting breakfast with Sanjo. We just sat next to Cassie and Emily, I think, he said, trying hard to recall. What did you eat? Why did you sit next to her? Whose idea was it? Dr. Larkspar bombarded Jason, snapping her fingers. Jason couldn't handle the pressure. Emily spoke up. He sat across from us, and Jason let me try his milkshake, and we agreed to play cards. I think that's everything, she said, trying to be thorough. Dr. Larkspar eyed Emily. What would you say was the highlight of that experience? She asked Emily suspiciously. Emily rolled her eyes. Well, obviously the milkshake was pretty good. She started, but Dr. Larkspar cut her off. Tachida, go get one of those awful milkshakes, she ordered, slapping a dollar bill to her and pushing her out the door. While we wait, how did you get to the theater? You had never been there, she asked further, trying to verify her theory. Emily perked up. Nocto showed us everything. How to get where to eat and how to get to the theater, she said, excited to get real answers. He made us prepare our bus change too, Jason added. Dr. Larkspar was having fun verifying her theory. Everything you needed, of course. What was he like after? Dr. Larkspar continued to look for clues. Emily hung her head a bit. He was sort of cold. I thought it was just the way he was, she said, getting quiet. Dr. Larkspar started examining Emily. Did you know that I really like basketball too? She said, trying to look deep into one of her eyes. I wasn't very good at it though, she said, pulling a laser pointer out of her pocket. Emily was happy to bond with the teacher. Emily was cut off. They spoke together as Dr. Larkspar shot the laser into her eye. I've always been interested in basketball, they said. Jason was pretty impressed. Dr. Larkspar put her hands on her hips. That's so cool. I never got that to work before, she said proudly. Emily was still confused. Tachida came back with a milkshake clinging to her surface. This was the last one, she said, placing it on the desk. A single coin also fell off her and bounced onto the table. Thanks, Tachida, Dr. Larkspar said, picking up the milkshake and taking a sip. That's horrible. There is that aftertaste and everything, she winced. It was the last one actually, Tachida added. Dr. Larkspar eyed the cup. Really? She asked herself, then shook her head. One thing at a time. Watch this, she said, handing the milkshake to Jason. Before Jason was done taking his own sip, Emily had already reached a hand out for it. Can I try too, Jason? She asked, causing Dr. Larkspar to snatch the milkshake away. How was that milkshake, Jason? She asked. It was fine, normal. Well, kinda good, he said, shrugging his shoulders. Even I know that can't be true, Tachida said abruptly. Now, Emily, no matter what happens, don't ask Jason for his milkshake, Dr. Larkspar said, handing the milkshake back to Jason, who took a sip. Emily asked Jason for some, and Dr. Larkspar snatched the milkshake away again. I didn't even get to try it, Emily protested. That's amazing, Dr. Larkspar confirmed, but the children didn't get it. She frowned. Let's try again, she said, repeating the experiment with the same result. Emily, I told you not to ask Jason for the milkshake, she said, looking Emily in the eye. Emily looked confused. So what? She asked, still not realizing it. Tachida flickered. It's impossible to give Jason a bad milkshake, and Emily will want one if he is one, she said, causing Jason and Emily to look at each other. Jason became bold. Okay, try again. This time I won't give Emily the milkshake, he said sternly. Dr. Larkspar smiled and gave the cup to Jason. He freely gave it to Emily when asked. This time, Dr. Larkspar didn't snatch it away. Why did you give that to Emily? She asked. Why wouldn't I? Oh, wait. He looked around, confused. This is really good. Emily interrupted, causing everyone to look at her. The point is that it isn't good, Tachita reminded Emily. Jason looked at the milkshake suspiciously. So, we're just compelled to do things, he asked, wondering what to do next. Dr. Larkspar nodded. Oh yes. I'm sure you are not the only ones either. Is there anything else? She prodded Emily. Emily snapped to attention, remembering something else. Jason and I fight a lot now, she said, excited to find a new clue. Jason put his hands in his pockets and looked down. Yeah, she's always slapping me for stupid reasons, he muttered. Your shirt was just gone. You looked stupid, Emily snapped. Jason leaned away from her. You're stupid, he said under his breath, but Emily definitely heard him. Dr. Larkspar recognized this couple. They had broken up years ago. She stopped Emily before she could slap Jason. You're both stupid. You have no control over this? She asked, trying to make sure. Jason frowned. I don't think so, he said, looking at Emily. Emily nodded. Maybe we shouldn't hang out anymore, she suggested. Tachita flickered. I don't think that will make a difference anymore. It's spreading, she said seriously. The milkshakes have probably run out by now. Dr. Larkspar scratched her chin. That's not possible. It can't be spreading. Why would Influenza make something that does that? She asked Tachita. The companion flickered for a moment. Nova flew forward. Because he didn't care how many students it spread to, she shouted enthusiastically. Dr. Larkspar waved her hand. We don't know that. We just know a lot of students like the aftertaste caused by a broken temperature sensor. But why? She asked, trailing off. Jason picked up the milkshake, and Emily asked him for a sip again. Nova, Tachita, and Dr. Larkspar looked at them suspiciously. It keeps them together, Dr. Larkspar affirmed. What does? Emily asked, finishing the milkshake. Jason laughed. This is amazing, he shouted. Dr. Larkspar laughed with him. Yes, it's pretty cool, but try not to mess with each other. We don't want another incident like at the observatory, she warned. Tachita flickered to get everyone's attention. It will happen again. We don't know what else they are compelled to do, she said frankly. Sanjo, Jason said quietly. Emily looked at Jason. He was being crazy too, she said. Jason threw his hands up. He wandered into the woods chasing the blue-haired lady with a laser pistol, he said quickly with a gasp on his face. Dr. Larkspar had a missing piece she needed. You didn't say he could see her? You should have led with that, she shouted at poor Jason, who put his hands in his pockets again. It's all the same. We have to find Sanjo now before tomorrow, she said, throwing a few items into her pocket. Why tomorrow? Jason asked. Because I'm probably getting fired tomorrow, she exclaimed.
When I came to you, there were things that I wouldn't say. I will lie, I won't even say my name. The things that I do